Thinking about leaving your soul-sucking 9 to 5 job, one of the biggest struggles I see people, especially as women, face is the idea of having that safety net, that enticing perks and benefits, and listening to that head trash of what will people think if I leave. I totally get it, and I've been where you are. That's why I created a free guide to help you if you're thinking about putting in that notice. It's called Unlocking Your Exit Plan. Discover 5 things you need to do before leaving your 9 to 5. This guide is filled with worksheets and steps so you will have hand holding along the way. You can download your copy in the link in the show notes, and again, it's totally free. Now back to today's episode. Hey there, let's face it, today's internet world is so saturated and everyone is fighting for that number one spot to be visible. It is no longer about running ads and having thousands of people on your email list. It is about building relationships and networking with others to grow your business and become visible. Hi, my name is Candace. I'm a podcast launch strategist and I help service-based business owners develop and deliver their message to the world by using platforms like podcasting and bringing valuable content to those who need to hear what they have to say. Welcome to the Hello C.S. Dorsey podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Hello C.S. Dorsey podcast. I have Shari here on the podcast today. Hi, Shari. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you? And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're so happy to have you on. So could you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
So my name is Shari Hammond, and I am an inventor, entrepreneur, single mom of a 13-year-old boy who plays basketball and lacrosse. I went into business with my father, and so we together started Inspired Product Development Group, and we invent and make products for the home that make daily tasks and life easier.
Awesome. I love this. I can't wait to dig into this. So let's talk about the inspiration behind starting your business. What was that like for you?
So I was raised in an entrepreneurial family. My father took early retirement from IBM when I was about 12 years old and started his own business. And I have worked for him for as long as I can remember. While he worked with IBM, he started a business. He and my mom started a woodcrafting business where they made LPs and lamps and tables and all sorts of kinds of things. I kind of took them to arts and crafts shows, and I would paint and make little knitted belts with my hands and sell them when I was about 6. And then that, Hunt's Woodcraft turned into a seasonal business that we had in kiosks in the malls. And then my dad retired from IBM and wanted to design a compact disc holder product. And so I worked with him on that. And that was actually my first patent that was issued when I was 18. And that was called Disc Gear, which was kind of like a Rolodex for your CDs. And it presented your disc to you. Well, he did that for a while. And I went and did my own thing. And then, recently in 2017, we had an opportunity. My employment had changed and he was on his second retirement, and we had an opportunity to just sit down and start tinkering, and decided to invent the cabinet caddy, which is a pull and rotate organizer for your spices and prescriptions and whatnot. And we just kind of thought, well, let's do this. Let's go back to our roots. And I'm now in my 40s and he's in his 80s or just turned 80. And, we just keeping at it, keeping him active, and I get to be with my dad every day, and it's really great.
That's awesome. So I love family businesses, and I love the fact that you can actually collaborate with your parent. And I think that is so awesome, so cool that you guys can just, can do that together. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm trying to see what me and my mom can come up with, but it's just getting her into the computer space. It's a little rough for me. So
I understand that.
We'll get there one day. But that is so awesome. So can you remember a time in your business or starting out where you had a hello moment?
Yes. So our big hello moment actually has to do with COVID. So we were trying to get into brick and mortar. We had one product, the cabinet caddy, and we had our new product, Go Hang It, coming out. And we were trying to get into brick and mortar. I've got retail packaging. Let's try to get sales. We had sales reps and just really trying to get into that brick and mortar space. But everything that we could get, everybody says, well, we want to put you online first and see how it does. And so we're like, okay. So we went and we're in several places online, the Grommet, Home Depot, our own website, Amazon, and, and it's doing pretty successfully. And at that time, and then COVID happened and all the brick and mortar shut down. The trade shows became non-existent and they canceled and moved out. I have yet to go to a trade show yet. And it was such a blessing because we had this great online presence. And now everybody's sitting at home and doing those organizational and, picture hanging tasks that they've been putting off because now they're working from home and they can juggle other things. And so COVID in a backwards kind of way really helped launch our business.
That's amazing. Yeah, I hear that all the time. And that was a big hello moment for you because you guys started getting online like right before the COVID happened. And so it was kind of like, it was a no-brainer. You really didn't have to like pivot like a lot of business and companies had to do that was more physical. So you guys are like already in that space. So it was kind of like, okay, let's just come on. Just the transition was like really smooth. So I really like that. Yeah, that was a huge hello moment for you.
Yes, it was.
That's awesome. It's amazing. Hey there, CS Dorsey here. We thrive on awesome feedback from our listeners because you make the show. Now, I would like to ask you to take a moment to comment, share, give a rating, or share your hello moment. Once you've done that, take a snapshot of the review and tag me on Instagram at csdorsey_hello. I cannot wait to hear from you. So let's talk about the value of having an idea and taking it through success. Could you talk more about that?
Sure. So many people have ideas and, I hear all the time, oh, I should have thought of that, or I thought about something, similar to that a long time ago. Ideas are great, but you really have to take that to the next level. You have to do prototypes and drawings and industrial design to make sure the ergonomics are correct on whatever it is you're making. And then you have to have molds. And so being the inventor entrepreneur, we do everything ourselves in-house. Aside from the actual manufacturing, we do have a 30-year relationship with a manufacturer that we use, but we know and trust. But, it takes a lot. So the idea is great and it's definitely the beginning, but you really have to have a lot of grit in order to get a product done from beginning to end, because after you do the molds, then you have to manufacture and you have to ship and you have to have retail packaging and then you have to start the marketing. And so it's a lot to take a product from inception to the market.
So what advice would you give our listeners out there if they have that idea? What should be their first step?
So their first step should be creating a prototype. You need to create even if it's crude. It can be, just something that's glued together. My dad and I laugh that when we're creating prototypes, that the item that we need is within a 10-foot radius. There's always something around that you can glue together and cut up, so you can mock up your product, or at least for us. And, and you just have to prototype and prototype and prototype. And now with 3D printers being so popular, now once you get your prototype done, you can have some drawings made. And then you can get an actual 3D printed prototype. So you can play with it and move it around and show it to your friends and see what they think. And so, modern technology has really changed the game. It's a lot easier today than it was 30 years ago, even to prototype. So prototypes are key.
Definitely. So would you suggest someone to start off online, or more when we get back to normal, then hit the pavement in the ground and start showing people, start doing those shows? Or would you say, definitely try the online first to see if you get some momentum?
Well, we didn't have any presence in retail stores, but we did trade shows, and we signed up for some local trade shows like, home and garden shows. And what those do is once you've got your product, those allow you to get it in front of customers, start customer facing, using it in front of them, watching what they react to, honing your pitch, if you will. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't, you could launch it and go directly online, but you really need that in-person interaction to kind of see what the wow moment is with your product. So I would suggest doing that, doing like local trade shows in your industry and everything to kind of hone your pitch and work on your presentations and your displays and all that kind of stuff, and how you're going to market it, because that will drive everything.
Awesome. That's amazing. I'm a note taker, so I'm writing everything down. I love it so much. That's amazing. Yeah, I completely agree with you on honing in on your pitch, because it makes you stronger. And when you do it a couple of times, it's just like doing a webinar online. When you're doing it a couple of times, you will have that confidence and you'll be able to, be able to speak on your product and be able to market it even better as time goes on. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. It's awesome. So any last minute advice you have for our listeners out there?
So aside from prototyping and all that kind of stuff, I would say it's very important to listen to your gut, to build those relationships with people. And if you're starting to get, as a woman, I value intuition like no other. And if you're dealing with somebody and you start to hear that instinctive like voice in your head, listen to your gut. And, it's there for a reason, and it's trying to, throw little warning signs up. You have to build relationships that you can know and trust with people. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So establishing those relationships with people in marketing and in sales and sales reps and manufacturing and all that kind of stuff, and really listening to your gut, is incredibly beneficial.
So I have a question. How would you approach partnerships?
So I think with any partnership, you have to do your due diligence. You want to research and see if there's like a person or an entity that, you will click with. And then of course you have to, then I would say, then you get a call and then you go meet them for coffee. And then, relationships are a give and take. So you want to make sure that you are mutually beneficial and it's not just, a one-way thing, because that's not gonna last for long. And that's true with life and people and pretty much anything.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's awesome. So where can everyone find you?
So, as I mentioned before, our products are online, Amazon, the Grommet. We have our own website called inspiredpdg.com, like Inspired Product Development Group. Or if you're interested in the Cabinet Caddy, you can go to cabinetcaddy.com and it'll point to our website. Or if you're interested in Go Hang It, our picture hanging and leveling tool, you can go to gohangit.com. And of course, we've got YouTube channels, youtube.com/inspiredpdg. You can go see our products in action and the tips and how-tos as well.
Awesome. And we will definitely link those up in the show notes so that they can click and go directly to you if they want to get in contact with you or see your products or just want to follow you on Instagram. Thank you, Shari, so much for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.